Alright, it's an update time. Still working on these shovel heads. I'm well into the next phase of this. So what we're doing here is, I've got one head cleaned up. I'm getting set to do the guides. The other head I'm still bead blasting. It'll be ready soon. I give my compressor a little break. It works hard doing this. But anyways, what you see here is some of the tools that you need to get this job done and get it done right. So what I discovered is the valves that were in there were pretty crusty and carboned up. That's an exhaust valve. Lots of burnt on crud on there. But I have new valves, and the stems just happen to be 1/1000th of an inch larger. So the exhaust guide wasn't really worn out. It was loose with the valve that was in there because the valve is smaller. This valve is about 1 thou bigger. So what I did is I run a 3/78 reamer through there and a quick scuff with a ball hone, and I'm at my 3 thou that I want for sizing. So that guide is going to stay. This guide, the intake side, I've taken out. So what you do now is you measure the old guide, then you use a bore gauge to find out how big the hole is, the bore in the head that the guide presses into, and then you calculate the press fit you need for an interference fit on guides. Then you go get your bag of guides. There's a bag of panhead Shovelhead guides. There's some bronze ones. And you measure these guides until you find one that's the right size. You got to do a bit of math. Working my way through this. This page will be full when I'm done. But you got to find a guide that's, got about 2 thou, maybe a little bit more press fit. So the guide is bigger than that hole by at least 2 thou. But you can't go overboard, because if you try and force a guide in that's too big, you'll crack that head and it's junk. So there's a bunch of different tools here that we use. Reamers, there's a reamer, there's a 3/78 reamer. These are go no go gauges. There's my mic for measuring all this stuff. There's a couple of bore gauges there. We're updating these heads. They're 77 heads, so they wouldn't have come with seals on them. So we're going to cut the tops of the guides down so we can run some kibble white valve guide seals. There's some cleaning, and there's a ball hone for a 3/8 valve guide. There's a drift for knocking guides out, back in. Usually I press them in. It's a more gentle way of doing it. Over here we've got a bunch of sun and stuff. If I want to hone these guides, I can. There's the hone. We just have to pick the right size mandrel. That's it there. That's a 3/8. Ooh, nice shovel head. Ooh, flat tracker. Okay, so if I want to final size these guides and do it really accurately, as in to a 10,000th of an inch the way they're supposed to be, I'm going to use that hone. You just put it in a drill. You hone a little bit, you check your sizing. This is the bore gauge that you use to check the sizing on the guides. I'm just working my way through this. It's tedious, it takes a while, but it's well worth doing. And this is not a job for the ham-fisted. You got to have the right tools, you got to use the right techniques, or you'll screw this up. I've spent a great deal of time and money getting set up to do this, and that's how I'm spending my Saturday afternoon. So, back to the bead blast cabinet. Inside of here is the other cylinder head, and I'm going to get busy and work away at that. So I blast for a few minutes. I have a small compressor. It takes a while to catch up or keep up with progress, but I have to give my compressor a break. It's old, it works hard, and I'm going to get back to it.